it's in order. Yeah, it's the employee's job, but it's not the employee's job to make sure the workplace is right. But we, for whatever reason, sports fans take the side of ownership, which is, in my opinion, flat out bananas. That's just bananas. You gonna take the side? Okay, let's be honest. More than likely, none of us will have the money that these NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Soccer, so forth. We won't have that kind of money. Even if we're successful, more cheese in the building. We won't be that rich. We won't become billionaires. So at what point do we start taking the bully side over the person who's being bullied? You don't say, hey man, you know, she shouldn't have had a short skirt on, that's why they jumped on her. Yo, whatever. You know, we don't do that. So why are we taking management side over? Why are we ever taking Jerry Jones side? Why are we ever taking Bob Kraft side? I mean, even if you cool. Bob Kraft, you stepped up for Meek Mills, and Meek Mills was going around saying that you didn't believe that this was going on. Now, that may be what they told Meek Mills, but we've been screaming this for at least 50 years. We've been saying we've been mistreated for at least 50 years. At least. I know better, but we just saying people been paying attention for at least 50 years. So why in the hell would it be different? You know what I'm saying? This is the same country that shot a peaceful man. You know, I'm not saying it's cool to shoot anybody, but when you shoot a dude who's saying don't fight back, that's when you got a problem. You didn't know people were being mistreated, and you saw Rodney King get his ass kicked. So miss me with the nonsense. It's just, I don't understand why we always take the side. Oh man, he a bum ass dude. Why he getting so much? You need to be glad that he getting that money, and hopefully, if we start galvanizing behind these players as a unit or a community, maybe they'll start investing. We get behind the Eric Reeds and the Caps and those type of people. Maybe they'll start investing in our communities, and we can pull ourselves out of this nonsense. That's just my thought. But let's just keep an eye out for the people who are after Justin Fields and Kelly Bryant, because you know they are going to receive tons and tons of backlash. You're gonna get the Paul Feinbaums, you're gonna get the Bill Waltons, and all these sports purists wanted to stay the way it used to be. You should, under no circumstances should you pay these players. Those people are going to start calling these young men disloyal, making them feel bad the same way they did LeBron James when he stood up and said, I'm not going to sit around and make Dan Gill with $1 billion and then my reputation go to hell. I'm not going to wait for y'all to Kevin Garnett me. Y'all not going to Oscar Robertson me. I'm going to take advantage of this. And because Oscar Robertson, this is one of the reasons your man Oscar Robertson is hardly ever spoken about in the NBA conversation. All you hear about Oscar Robertson, he the triple-double guy. But Oscar Robertson, the reason you don't hear too much about him is Oscar Robertson fought to get free agency, fought to get medical and things like that. At the end of the day, everybody should be taking a piece out their check every 2 weeks or whatever NBA players get paid and shooting Oscar Robertson a couple $100,000, because he the reason you can make this bread. So, you know, that's why Oscar Robertson is damn near on the blacklist. Him and Kareem. You in the midst, right after the civil rights era, you changed your name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You joined the boogeyman. So that's why Kareem can't get a job and things of that nature. So let's just be honest. My second thing on the menu is this. Shout out to North Carolina A&T and Alcorn State. They had a hell of a bowl game. I just watched it the other day on one of the ESPN networks. It was super dope. Suggested to the crew, and maybe you can pass it on. I mean, we all have our allegiance to certain institutions that either we attended them or we support them. But at some point, how about this? Why don't we just cash mob either Alcorn State or North Carolina A&T? Reason being, we go out and buy Ohio State jerseys and T-shirts and things of that nature. Why not do this for our institutions? How else can we expect our institutions to get better facilities, to attract better players, so we can compete against these big institutions? Shout out to my man Chris. Thanks for showing up, Chris. My girl Tiff said facts. If it wasn't for Oscar Robertson, these players wouldn't have a lot of the things that they have. Don't forget that Spencer Haywood did a lot for the players too. Shout out to Spencer Haywood, man. See, this is the reason I do the interviews that I do, y'all. Shout out to Spencer Haywood. This is the reason I do. Hey, you know what y'all want y'all to do? Catch up. You see that name right there, Chris Alexander? People follow him. He got hey, Chris, put your brand name on there. This is a brother who got a clothing line. Super dope urban wear, man. Shop with my man, please. Check him out. I promise you, if you, I promise you, you'll see something in regards to what he's selling that you will like. In the field, they have to sit out a play. I hope he stays at the UGA. Honestly, it's not sure what he's expecting to come up, coming up with his promise. But let Jake just like him and number one QBs. Coming out of high school, I've been a Fields fan, but I'm more of a UGA fan. So if he leaves, I'll be checking for him. My man Mo, speaking from his heart, got mad love for that. He's saying that he didn't know what Fields was expecting, especially seeing how. And that's a logical way to look at it. Jake Fromm was the number one player in the nation the year before Justin. What were you expecting going to an institution who just played, who was actually competing for the national championship when you committed? You had to know that you wasn't going to play. That's an honest assessment, Joe. Shout out to Mo. But again, Chris, post your information, man. Support my man, Chris. He a dope ass dude. StylesGuys.com. Support the brother. Man, I'm telling you, good shit. I buy it all the time. Shout out to Holly for being in the building. Chris, you can update your profile so we can actually see the link. There you go. Holly in the building. Holly Newsom in the building. Thank you for joining the fun. Tell people what Spencer Haywood did, because I don't really think people know the combined efforts of Oscar and Spencer, what they both did. Well, for that case, shout out to Tiffany for forcing me to be, instead of just being a wind sock, and just blowing hot air, updating people on information. Joe from Houston in the building. Yeah, Spencer Haywood, his career almost went down the drain simply because he wanted what he wanted. This is a dude who, what they called it, a hardship. Spencer Haywood put a whole lot on the line for his career, and he's the reason you can leave school early. And a lot of people don't see that. That's, again, this is why I do the interviews that I do with people like Lynn Elmore and Rod Strickland and things like that, because I truly believe it's a concerted effort by the NBA to eliminate those dudes from the early 60s and 70s, because they act like basketball started in 1979 with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, which we all know isn't true. People like Spencer Haywood, people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, people like Oscar Robertson, these people laid a lot on line. Since my girl Tiff told me to inform people, I'm going to also inform you of this. 1968 Olympics, when John Carlos and Tommy Smith raised those fists, Kareem did not participate in those Olympics because he said he ain't going to represent the country who ain't taking care of him. See, these are the backline stories behind why people like you always wonder, man, why don't anybody ever hire Kareem? Because once you stand up for the folks you believe in, if it ain't in lockstep with them, your ass will be blackballed, or once they get through using you, you will be blackballed. And that's just the bottom line. So, thank you again, Tiffany, for forcing me to speak on other things besides what's on the menu. Love that. See, that's why, hey, believe it or not, that's why I'm glad I switched over to Spreaker, simply because I used to have call-ins and things like that, but I had you guys are interacting with me and forcing me to use my brain and forcing my show to be even more entertaining than it could be, even on the playback, which I really appreciate. That's why I like this, because it's interaction at all times. So please continue to interact with me. If you're a background listener, please create a profile, log in, and say what's up to your boy. It's all good. I love hearing from people. But like I said, man, this goes back to the cash mobbing, North Carolina, A&T, and Alcorn State. We don't have a problem cash mobbing the Raiders, that's what I was used to do, and the Cowboys and the Bears and all these people. We need to cash mob some of these HBCUs. Because if we start putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in their pockets, they update their facilities. Then when these 3-star athletes who hoping to go to these big schools show up there, they go, okay, it's decent down here. Kind of like with FAMU. FAMU got hella facilities. And we need to start putting our money back into the community. I know it's a broken record, but guess what? It's the only record I ever bought. So I'm gonna keep playing this broken fucking record until we start doing it. And I ain't buying into that. We the only community that don't, because you know what? So we only make up 13-15% of the population, and most people in America are working class or at the poverty line. So we ain't the only people that do it. We just the only people that get highlighted. You know, we only people that the flashlight is on or the spotlight is on. So stop kicking yourself in the ass for just being a human. Period. Let me see. Now, back to what I was talking about. Now, like I was saying, man, I'm going to go right into some NBA conversation. I don't have a whole lot of NBA conversation today. I do have my NBA power rankings. I'm going to start right there. Now, as you know, I don't know if you guys, because I just reignited the whole power rankings thing. I don't carry over teams from the previous week unless they continue to shine. Okay, I'm going to say it. Some HBUs don't handle the money correctly. You know what, Brian? There's no problem with saying that. I got a homeboy who his father was a professor at Fisk, and they still owe him $80K. You are correct. But what we can do is these institutions, we can start. Look, a lot of us are in the South. A lot of folks are in the South down here. Why don't we start doing some investigation and finding out who handling their funds correctly and cash mob those institutions? Because you're right, Brian. We don't want to just throw our money on the ground. We could be better suited going to styleguys.com and support my man Chris Alexander right there. If that's the case, so you are right. And it ain't nothing wrong. Hey, Brian, it ain't nothing. I don't think it's anything wrong with pointing out possible warts in our community as long as we point them out. Because I don't need nobody else telling me I'm ugly. I know I'm ugly already. You know what I'm saying? If I'm ugly, every day when I wash my face, I got to be able to say, damn, I'm ugly. But you know what? I'm ugly, but I'm gonna have some fresh ass clothes on, and I'm gonna smell good. That's what I'm talking about, Brian. That's all. What's up, DJ Knox? Man, follow DJ Knox. Dope music at all times. Being on BS3, same thing, man. But so, Brian, I don't have a problem with having that conversation. Please, I welcome that conversation, because the only way we will get past those things is to have productive conversations about those things, and then focus our money in certain directions. My institution, Morris Brown. If you live in Atlanta, you know what the deal is with Morris Brown. I ain't even gonna get into it. So there it is. When I went to CSU, Clark Atlanta University, for those who don't know, I know firsthand. My uncle's works at the athletic department, and Morehouse is trying to get. See, there you go. Mo Cheese just answered your question. Clutch Conversations in the building, dope show as well. I'm tuning in to everybody. Trust me, I'm giving everybody spins. I have a whole lot of downtime, people. I listen to everybody. I'm excited. I'm super excited. Back to the NBA power ranking. I'm gonna start with my number 5 power ranking this week. The number 5 power, Kevin. Thank you, Mocha, for giving me his name, because I hate calling the man Clutch Conversation. I know, or the woman, depending on what it is. But thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Mocha. Now I know his name, Kevin, in the building. Indiana is my number 5 team. Now that the homie is back, Indiana is gonna be a force to reckon with. I really like their coach. Their coach promotes defensive intensity. Victor Oladipo is back in the building. He's taking over games. This is one of the more well-rounded teams in the NBA, which that's why I have them as my number 5 team in the NBA this week. This is a week-to-week assessment. This isn't a power ranking. This is a power ranking that it could be 5 totally different teams next week. So if this isn't in step with the last week's, because none of the teams I have on here were on here. Well, actually, my number 3 team was on here from last week. But you could be on one week and not on the next. That's how I'm gonna do it. Now, my number 4 team is the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks had, at one point, they were much higher than this, but people are starting to figure them out, and they are also getting used to Coach Boomholzer's style. This is a San Antonio kind of style. And because I believe a lot of these young boys don't know how to play basketball,